Hello! It's Susan from Sassy C Art Shop. You guys ready to do some art with me? Let's get to it! Hello! It is Susan from Sassy C Art Shop. Welcome back to my channel. You know, it is cold outside. The ground is covered in snow. I'm probably going to have some hot chocolate later. So I thought we could do some art together. Let's get to it. Okay, so today I thought I would do my next sketchbook cover. So this is my sketchbook. This is sketchbook 2. And this is sketchbook 3. I have the tours of everything that's in them linked in videos below. So if you want to watch those, be sure to check them out. So I still have, when I say sketchbook, I kind of mean like my portfolio thing. I tend to draw on loose paper instead of like sketchbooks. Yeah, I like creating like the cover. I got these like binders that have different colors in like a 4-pack. So I've done the pink and I've done the blue. And I have green and red left. I'm not really feeling green, so I think we're going to work with the red today. So that's what we're going to be working with. I kind of wanted to sort of mimic these styles. So each one has its own character with a woman, and she's kind of in like 3/4 view almost. And then it has this cool like sort of Art Nouveau kind of background for both of them with their respective things. So I think I'll probably stick with that because I kind of like for them to match a little bit. So here I have my sketchbook. This is an actual sketchbook, but I mostly use it just to get like colors and write down my ideas. Like no actual like very little finished art is actually in here. But okay, so like I said, we're gonna do red. So I thought I would just write down some things that make me think of red. So first thing that comes to mind: roses, poppies, lipstick, hearts, so love and passion. Sorry, timer was going off or something. Boldness, maybe even like it can be like sexy color. So let's see, think of those when I think of red. What else do I think of? I don't know. There might be like, I kind of like the idea of doing something with like roses or something, but my very first sketchbook that I did, I had like a rose motif, and I mean, I don't mind repeating it because I love roses. I think they're super pretty. But I may go with like poppies or something. That's kind of interesting. Lipstick, and like if it's sexy, like maybe have like a woman with like a big hat and it's like covers one eye and it shows like red lipstick. Might be fun. Like a red hat and she's like holding either a rose or a poppy or something. That'd be kind of cute. I don't know if I want to do that though. Let's see, what else do I think of when I think of red? Oh, guys, I just had a great idea. So what do you think of when you think of red? What about Red Riding Hood? And she's a character. And I feel like she could be fun to kind of go along with the characters we already have. Like those are original characters, and Red Riding Hood is obviously an established character. I do want to do like an adult version. I know I don't want to do like a kid one, but yeah, maybe Red Riding Hood. I like that one. Ooh, that one is calling out to me. I like Red Riding Hood. So okay. Let's see. Would I want her facing the front? She's got the hood like that, or do I want kind of the 3/4 view and it kind of goes more like this? Kind of, I do like that better, and I think it would match kind of like what I've created on my other two, and like I said, I kind of like that they sort of match but have their own thing. Okay, so maybe she has a basket of something that is red. So there's apples and strawberries and cherries. Yeah, maybe she has like some little like cherry tarts or something, or apples. Let's see what she's bringing to Granny. That'd be kind of cute. And of course we have to have her in the woods of some sort, so have like the woods as part of the kind of Art Nouveau style on the sides. That would be kind of cool. And then the wolf. I think definitely include the wolf. So do I want it directly behind her? Do I want it like in the same direction as her? Let's see. I kind of like the opposite, like the wolf is facing this way and she's facing this way. I like that. And then do I want him howling? I don't know. Anyway, so what else could I fill the space with? Because I don't want to necessarily do a moon, because I don't feel like she's walking at night. But she could have like a cute little corset. Hey, it kind of matches some of this outfit, but not exactly. But yeah, so, and then if she's in a forest, we can go back to the poppies idea. Have like little poppies curling up around the sides. That'd be kind of cute. And then maybe some on her corset too, because you're only going to see about here. Yeah, kind of like that idea. We will figure out what we want to fill this area in with. And do I want to make the wolf's eyes red, or is that going to look like too scary? Because I don't want it to be like horror-esque. And do I want a black wolf, a white wolf, a gray wolf? I don't know. It depends on the rest of the color scheme I go with. Because if I go with like black on her corset and stuff like that, and she has like dark hair, I may do a dark wolf just to keep with the thing. But if it's white, I may like the contrast. Let me sketch out some ideas and get back to you guys. Alrighty guys, so I am back. I have sketched the what's going to go on the front of my sketchbook, and let's see that in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Doesn't she look good? So yeah, I went with like a Red Riding Hood theme. So it has the wolf, she's got her little basket of treats, and I did like some poppies. So I did like the Art Nouveau style to kind of match the other ones. And the sketchbook is kind of written so it looks sort of like twisted tree branches. And then I've cut out these little bits here because I want it to show through on the red of the sketchbook. And you know what? I think she would actually look cute as chibi. So let's do that in 3, 2, 1. Well, that was easy. So here she is as a little chibi and a little chibi wolf, and she thinks he's so cute because I think he's so cute. She's in the forest. So this will actually be on the front cover, or like on the inside cover of my sketchbook. So it says welcome to my sketchbook, and it will have the dates that it is in there. I like to recreate the character in a little chibi form. I think that's cute. So let's get to the fun part. Let's color these babies. But first I want to show you guys them side by side. Ta-da! All right, let's get to coloring. Here we go. Okay, so here I am just doing the line work for this piece. I used mostly colored pencils for it because I wanted a slightly softer look, and I wanted it to blend into markers a little bit more when I go for that in a minute. And I tried to use a slightly darker color than the base color that I plan to use, mostly like reds and blacks and things like that that will be in the main color scheme. So that's what I'm doing right here. And then I used sort of like bronzy gold for like the basket and some of the other parts. And you'll see how that turns out in a minute. And then of course I use the green for like the leaves and stuff. All right, let's get to one of the most fun parts, and this is the coloring. So this part I felt was really satisfying because I kind of did it by color group of my main colors with my Ohuhu alcohol markers. So I laid all the base colors down. So my main colors were red, green, gold, and black. And I used my markers just to create a base. And I'm really glad I did this because I think it turned out really well with the style that I wanted. I normally color a lot of my shadows and details with the markers themselves, but I decided against doing that this time. And instead I created a piece where I did all the base coloring with the marker with just like a single color. And then I used colored pencils that you'll see in a minute for like all the shading and stuff. And I think this was a really good choice because I feel like the colors are bolder now. When I first did the line art, I was like, oh, should I even color it? Because it looks really good just as line art, but I'm really glad I ended up deciding to color it. Yeah, so those were my main colors that I used, and you'll see me use the colored pencils to add all the details in just a minute. I did forget to record the process of like coloring the skin and stuff. So you won't see that here, but you'll see the result of it in just a second. All right, and here I am getting into what I was talking about with the colored pencils. As you can see, I colored the skin and stuff. But like I said, that was off camera. I think my camera had died for a few minutes, so I apologize that you guys didn't see that footage. But yeah, so like I said, I used the colored pencils for the line art, and I think this worked really well with the markers initially because they kind of like blend in but have still the distinct lines, but it's a little bit softer than if you use like an ink pen or something. So yeah, I used a variety of different colors to add a lot of shading and details and highlights. So for the reds, I actually used like a sort of dark purple for the shading. So that's a really good tip if you're using red. Purple is a great shading color. And then I also used like some whites and some pinks to kind of bring out the highlights in the cloak and things like that. For the background, so I added some of the details and shading in the poppies, which I think was a good idea, that I used the same colors as I used in the hood, all of that to match. But I also added like some little leaves and like things in the background that are kind of not as prominent, but I used a lighter color than the background shade I used with like the green, so I used a much lighter green colored pencil, and I think that worked really well to bring up the foliage, however you pronounce it. Yeah, and then like for the hair, I actually went in with like a black and like a super dark brown, and then I went back with a white to add the highlights and stuff. And I really love how this turned out. I think it has like a lot of movement and highlights and shadows without losing the texture of the hair, which I really, really like. Yeah, so adding all the details was super fun. I'm really glad that I did all of this. It really just brought this whole piece together. Um, at each stage of creating this, I just love how it was turning out, and I was like, oh, I don't want to ruin it by going on to the next step. But I don't think I ruined it. I think each time I made a new step in the process, took that step, I think it actually got better. I do think I over-rendered the skin just a little bit. That's something I would like to work on in the future because I've had problems with it in the past. So I just want to kind of try that out and work on it a little bit more, make it a little more realistic. But overall, I'm very, very happy with how this turned out, and I'm so glad that I did this style for this. It's probably one of my favorite ones of my sketchbook covers so far. What are you guys thinking of it so far? Alrighty, so that finishes up the front of the sketchbook, but I like to do the interior cover of the sketchbook too. And basically what I do, I just recreate the same character in a chibi form, so that's what I did. And I showed you guys the sketch of that. And here I am just doing the line work for this piece. I just used ballpoint or my Ohuhu fine liners for this. I used my black for like some thicker outlines, and then like any thinner lines I used black, and then the cape and welcome to my sketchbook and the poppies I did in red. This I used the same color scheme as I used on the front of the cover, the same markers and stuff, but I did add some shading and stuff with some deeper markers, just because I didn't want them to have as much detail as the front cover, so I just did it all with markers, which felt easier to do, and I'm really happy with how it all turned out. I think it turned out super cute. I love how it matches the front, but still has its own kind of sweet, warm personality. And then I just added some background, and yeah, added a few more colors to give it a little more warmth and depth and stuff, while still keeping it in a fairly simple, cute, chibi style that is very warm and sweet and just adorable. So I'm really glad I did this. Okay guys, so I have finally finished the coloring. Are you guys ready to see the final reveal? In 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Here's how they turned out. So here's the one that's going to go on the front of the sketchbook. I think she turned out really cool. I like all the details. I think the colors work really well together. The wolf looks really cool. I feel like I over-rendered the face a little bit, but what you gonna do? And then sketchbook 4 up top, and the little poppies and everything. A little detailing on the red hood. I think it turned out cute. And then here is the little chibi version for the interior cover. And it says, "Welcome to my sketchbook." And it's from the 13th of January 2026 to however long it takes me. Probably about 6 to 7 months. So I did a little chibi version of her. And the tiny little wolf, look how cute he is! Oh, he's so darn cute! And then the little poppies and forest. I think they turned out really cute. And then I made some little stickers too. So I have this big poppy, this little poppy, and like the number 4. So let's go ahead and put them in my sketchbook. See how they look? So here is the front. And it has this kind of like clear plastic that I can hopefully just slip in, because I've cut out little bits though. It may take a little maneuvering, a little magic. I can get it even open. That would be awesome. All right, there we go. And just push it in, push it in, push it. No, shove it. No, push it. There we go, there we go, there we go. Almost there. Here we go. That looks really good. So like I said, I cut out these pieces to leave so you can see kind of like the red behind it, which I think really incorporates it well. Yeah, the colors look really great on that. Let's do the little inside one. So the chibi one goes in here and it just tucks right in here. And then there we go. Yeah, that looks very cute. So here's the front. Here is the interior. I can't wait to start filling it. But let's put the little stickers on the back. Eraser shavings. Get off! Get off! Back beast. Anyway, there we go. Alright. So the big one, we're going to see if this worked. I hope it did. I think so. And it just goes right here. Just put it on. There we go. Yeah, that looks cute. And then the little one, gonna do that and get it off. Eee! You know, it should not be as hard as it is to peel this sticker, but I like to struggle a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right, and we'll just put this one here, cover up those little dots or whatever. There we go. That looks good. Make sure it's stuck on there good. Don't like it peeling up. Go. And then the little number 4, I'm just going to put in the center. Go. That looks about right. Right there. Stick it down, stick it down, stick it down. There we go. Yeah, that looks very nice. Number 4. Thanks for coming along with me as I drew this, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this, and let me know what more kind of videos you guys want to see, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!